Savage Dragon 135 from March of 2008. That's about 4 months since the previous issue, and it'll be another 3 or 4 months before the next one hits shelves. So we're kind of on a quarterly release schedule at the moment. Also, this coincides with the final era of Larsen as Image publisher. He steps down from the position later in 2008, allowing Eric Stevenson to take that role, one that he still holds today. So enough of that. I'm burying the lead here. Enter Prism. Who is Prism, you may ask? Longtime followers of Erik Larsen would recognize him from Graphic Fantasy #1. Got the reprint here. You see Prism on the cover along with Iron Hawk and the OG Stubby Fin Dragon. So Prism was created by Al Harris, friend and collaborator of a young Erik Larsen. Two guys met at a comic shop in Washington State, King Arthur's Bookshop. And the shop owners, Wayne and June, they published Graphic Fantasy, a black and white anthology. We've covered the dragon story in here before, but Prism also has a 22-page story as well, written and drawn by Al Harris with inks by Erik Larsen. It's the charming story of Ben Palmer and his girlfriend / secretary, Karen, and how he became the man made of diamond, Prism. Lucky for us, the entire story is reprinted here in issue 135, so let's check this one out. One note on the cover, though. When asked about his choice of that green band at the top, Larsen says he was just going for that Bronze Age Marvel style. Always a fan of those retro covers. It looks kind of like a photo background on there as well. I don't know if you can even notice that. On to the credits, though. Perpetrated by Erik Larsen, writer, artist, and colors. Guilty by association is John Workman, the letterer. And Josh Eckhorn is filled with puddin' power. Another Hostess Pie joke, but my mind immediately went to Barry and Levon for some reason. Link in the description below. So how about a recap? Previously in Savage Dragon, our hero started on his quest to find his missing wife. Not much luck so far. All right, so cool, short and sweet. Battle in Seattle is the title of this one. A classic coffin POV, looking up at the mourners from the grave. A funeral for Rapture, killed by Solar Man last issue. And if you're having a case of deja vu, this is the second Rapture funeral scene that we've covered. Once before, back in issue 44, but that was for another version of Sharona Jackson from a different version of Earth that has since been destroyed. So technically, hell, everyone here is dead. But anyway, after the burial and the ceremony and some kind words and some not so kind words, Dragon starts to leave, but once again, he's hounded by the press. They got a million questions and accusations. He does a better job here defending himself than last time. He must have got some media training in the last few months. But these interviews are replayed and chopped up for sound bites by propaganda operations, posing as television news, declaring Solar Man a savior. We can see the savior right here. He's freeing a man's head from his body. That's poor Goofus and Gallant there. They eat it. But then it's over. It's a flight to rainy Seattle. Dragon arriving at the airport, drawing attention from the other travelers like any celebrity would, but doesn't seem like he's very popular around here. Man, we're just bebopping all over the place. Okay, over to Dimension X, where Glum is back on his home planet, along with Angel. But not much going on there. Just kind of a reminder that they're there. Glum's not happy, and he wants revenge. All right. So in Seattle, Dragon is greeted by Ben Palmer, who says that he is a big fan of his work. And these two dudes, they just hit it off pretty well. Of course, Dragon is oblivious that Ben Palmer is the secret identity of the hero Prism. Elsewhere in Dimension X, young Malcolm Dragon and friends, they battle an endless swarm of mutant weirdos. Poor kids just want to find some peace. Then back in Chicago, the Fire Lord escapes the mass grave that he was buried under a few issues ago. So we thought Rita had killed these bastards, but Fire Lord has survived, and he's pissed. And just in case you don't know, that's the guy who burned off Dragon's arm, so he's no slouch. Over to Seattle, where Dragon continues his search for his missing wife. He believes that she was looking to regain her powers and may have sought help from a man called the Power Broker. So like Johnny Redbeard, the creator, who could like grant superhuman abilities to those who sought his help, Power Broker, he's doing the same thing up here in the Pacific Northwest. Then Ben's secretary, Karen, she interrupts the conversation. Seems like she's not too fond of Savage Dragon. Our whirlwind tour continues back to Chicago. Mako is trying to rally the troops, the remaining super freaks of the Vicious Circle. He wants them to join together and fight Solar Man like men, or die like sniveling cowards. And then across town, the sensational She-Dragon, she gets her old outfit back, or it's like a new version of it or something. But anyway, it's put together by this old guy, Art Rosenbaum, a super suit designer and Invincible character. So Invincible is going to cross over into Savage Dragon again in a few issues, so got some foreshadowing going on there. Anyway, Amy, she hops out of her cab after seeing a woman being attacked, and we'll find out all about that next issue. So Dragon and Ben, they are driven to the scene of a battle between the Power Broker's men and the Centurions. That's a local team of heroes that Prism belongs to. Then this random bad guy just comes crashing through the windshield, killing the chauffeur. But there is justice for the limo driver. We got a fist going through the bad guy's stomach there, courtesy of Prism. So Dragon is excited to find out that his new friend is not only wealthy, but can also transform into a badass diamond man. So Dragon and the Centurions, they make short work of these creeps. And then finally, the Power Broker appears with some backup. Maybe we'll get some answers, or more violence, or both. To be continued. All right, so next is the Mighty Skullboy Army by Jacob Chabot. The titular Skullboy learns a lesson about cheating on his homework. All right, so after that is Fanatics. Not a whole lot here. Larson admits this could be the most self-indulgent issue of Savage Dragon of all time. That's debatable, in my opinion, but he goes on to mention the origin of Prism and his friend Al Harris and graphic fantasy, all the kind of stuff that we just talked about. Let's get to this reprint, though. This is as it appeared, or in the original, except for a couple of corrected typos that Larson couldn't let stand, and maybe some shading in a panel or two, but otherwise, all the amateur efforts are presented here, warts and all. And I don't think the storytelling is that bad. These guys are obviously talented, and Prism is a pretty cool character design. So anyway, he takes out this dude, the Amphiboman, who is like harassing these beachgoers. Yeah, that's a pretty cool shot of Prism right there. Yeah, gnarly looking villain, the Amphiboman. Anyway, then Ben, he tells his origin story to Karen, telling her about how he found Prism in a abandoned or a collapsed diamond mine in South Africa. And he was inhabited by this evil sorcerer named Ntaka. And then the two consciousnesses shared the same body. And then they have to work together to try and escape the mines. But after he's free, Ben never feels the persona of that sorcerer ever again. Or not ever again. Spoiler alert, next issue, that sorcerer Ntaka will return. Anyway, it's a pretty solid introduction to these characters. I think this works pretty well, especially considering the age and experience of the creators at this point. So, well done, boys. Nice bonus here, adding 22 pages to this issue, rounding it out to like 40, 44, 45 pages with some bonus material like this preview for the next issue of Graphic Fantasy. And the back cover also faithfully reproduced there. And I hope you're ready for more Prism. because he's going to return in issue 136, which is next. Adios.